This week on ANN, thousands of Adventists pour into the streets of Venezuela to bring joy to a country torn by political and economic strife.
The government in Vanuatu seeks support from the Adventist Church and ADRA.
And Breath of Life Ministries authors its first missionary book.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, making people smile, doing acts of kindness, and sharing hope is what moved more than 12,000 Seventh-day Adventists in West Venezuela to impact their cities and communities amid the political turmoil and economic crisis in the country.
The recent event mobilized church members to take a week off from their jobs and daily routine to focus on spreading joy throughout streets and homes across the territory.
This is the fourth year the initiative coined Close to You, Venezuela has taken place in West Venezuela. Thousands of people were fed, clothed, cheered in hospitals, provided medicines, and ministered through Bible studies, music, prayer, and more.
President of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in West Venezuela, Orlando Ramirez, said, "We believe that this activity achieves the method of Jesus that he personally achieved in this world to reach people, especially those in need. It's about reaching people, showing sympathy, love, and care, and meeting their needs in a wide variety of ways."
Months of planning and coordinating across 9 of the Adventist Church's Venezuelan conferences resulted in more than 10,000 contacts interested in Bible studies, prayer connections, and more than 105 newly baptized believers.
Church leaders reported that more than 37,000 hot meals were distributed, 15,000 people donated blood, 900 trees were planted, and 171 free mobile clinics were offered.
In addition, 9,000 children attended the 180 vacation Bible schools conducted in the region, and thousands of drivers received messages of hope at traffic light stops across cities.
The church also held evangelistic meetings in more than 150 churches and centers throughout the city, distributed over 60,000 pieces of literature, held 800 Bible studies, and visited more than 2,000 families.
One of the new projects added this year was providing safe drinking water in the most needy communities, including the state of Falcon. Additionally, church members set up stations to repair clothes and shoes in many communities in the state of Merida.
The activities drew media coverage in dozens of radio stations, television stations, and newspapers across the region. The church's Hope Media Center promoted the event through a comprehensive social media campaign.
Staff of the Hope Media Center taught a group of children participating in Vacation Bible School activities how to talk in front of the camera and help produce news reports for the event.
For more information, visit interamerica.org.
The government of Vanuatu has appealed to the Vanuatu Mission of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, an Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, in the country to extend their Blossom publication to other Christian denominations. Director of Women's Affairs for the Vanuatu government, Doris Day Kenneth, met with the mission president, Nos Terry, to discuss the Blossom Project. The Blossom Project is an ADRA family life education program that works to strengthen family units. Kenneth expressed that she would like to see Blossom training programs implemented throughout all Christian denominations. Terry was quick to assure Kenneth that the Vanuatu mission was willing to share its resources with the community and to contribute to the government's People's Plan 2030. According to ADRA, the Blossom Project aims to reduce teenage pregnancy in Vanuatu, provide reproductive health education programs, and address the issue of domestic violence and sexual abuse. Adventist churches in other Pacific Island countries have learned of Blossom and requested copies for their local churches.
Carlton P. Bird, speaker and director of Breath of Life Ministries, headquartered in the U.S. state of Alabama, believed that spiritual health is partially dependent on personal involvement in outreach. One way Bird encourages members to be active participants in sharing the gospel is through literature distribution. This emphasis birthed Breath of Life's first sharing book entitled Free, Revisiting God's Plan for Oppressed People, which is co-authored by Bird and Christopher C. Thompson, Communication and Marketing Director for Breath of Life. The pocket-sized volume points readers to a deliverer who is concerned about the social, economic, and political circumstances that oppress people and suppress the voices of millions in America and around the world. Released in June, Free has already been distributed to hundreds of people in preparation for the ministry's public evangelism meetings. Several churches in Miami, Florida have shared the book in their neighborhoods, but especially in the Brownsville community. Brownsville is the home of Bethany Seventh-day Adventist Church, which served as the location the Breath of Life Summer Revival. At the end of the revival, Bird and area pastors baptized 120 people into the Adventist Church. Bird says, "It is Breath of Life's sincere desire that this project will help empower local churches to similarly experience the joy of personal outreach in preparation for public evangelism. Jesus isn't coming anywhere until the gospel goes everywhere."
Pathfinder clubs around the world recently celebrated World Pathfinder Day.
In the Dominican Republic, thousands of Seventh-day Adventists took to the streets of Santo Domingo to commemorate the 69th anniversary of World Pathfinder Day.
More than 12,000 young people and church leaders wore their uniforms, scarves, and patches and held banners stating this year's World Church theme, Created with a Purpose.
A massive group marched through the main streets and avenues, distributing literature and the Adventist Church's missionary book of the year, Hope for Today's Families, by Willie and Elaine Oliver.
Church leaders and administrators from across the central and southeast regions of the territory joined in the march and the large celebration that followed at the Palacio de los Deportes Auditorium. Musical performances and spiritual messages were part of the afternoon commemorative celebration.
With more than 159,000 young people across the island, representing nearly half of the total membership in the Dominican Republic, church leaders strongly believe that young people who are well-driven are the most important asset that any organization or institution has.
In Chiapas, Mexico, Pathfinders gave out hugs and prayed for people in public places. They held posters with positive messages, as well as distributed water and cold drinks to drivers and onlookers.
Other similar activities across the state involved thousands of Pathfinders impacting and sharing in their communities. This came at the end of Scarf Challenge Week, where young Adventists were challenged to wear their neckerchief or scarf in their daily activities as a way to generate conversation about their faith with others.
For more information on Pathfinder Day and all the activities from around the world, visit youth.adventist.org.
Coming up, Adventist students in Brazil plant thousands of trees.
But up next, a Children's Ministries convention is held in Zambia.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system: the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the 7th-day Sabbath. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
Welcome back.
The Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division is passionate about children getting involved in evangelism. The recently completed Children Convention is a sure sign that total member involvement is alive and well in this vast territory.
Communication Director for the Adventist Church in the Southern Africa Indian Ocean region, Noel Sabanda, sent this report.
Taking a leaf from the scriptures from the book of Matthew, the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division second edition of the Children's Ministry Convention was held in Livingstone, Zambia, just across the mighty Victoria Falls, affectionately known as Mosio Tunywa, the smoke that thunders. Running under the leadership of Ms. Caroline Chola, the week-long convention attracted leaders dealing with the children from all our unions. The theme of the convention was Involve Them, and true to their theme, the children were involved during this summit. The daily devotions were led by a child preacher by the name Benon Mutukura, whose messages left the leaders tongue-tied as they could not believe their eyes, seeing a little boy quoting the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation.
So for the adults to enter the kingdom of heaven, they should be like children. So in actual fact, children are the role models of the kingdom of God.
For Benonum Tukura, he says it's a joy to serve the Lord during his youthful days.
I've noticed my gift and I want to pursue this dream, because if you want to success in life, you have to pursue your dream.
The convention was officially opened by the division president, Dr. Solomon Maposa, the leaders from the General Conference, namely Mrs. Linda Ko, the General Conference Director for Children's Ministries Department, and her associate, Dr. Soston Mfune, whose passion for children always surpasses all understanding. Children from Gweru in the Zimbabwe Central Union Conference were something to marvel at as they performed various songs ministering not only to their peers but to the adults as well. Wearing different regalia, the children gave various renditions on stage that left the adults asking for more. The Children's Ministries Director for the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division, Mrs. Caroline Chola, was happy that as a church in the SID, children are being involved as well for the mission of the church.
This convention is here to teach leaders how they can involve the children in the activities of the church.
If all of us with our children would be involved, I am sure that the gospel would spread across the division territory like wildfire.
So I was really happy when I heard that this division's theme was involve them, because we want to involve them in evangelism, in outreach, serving the community, helping the poor.
The climax of the convention was the outreach projects whereby the children themselves, accompanied by their parents, went to the community to be the hands and feet of Jesus. They visited the old people's home and the needy families and donated goodies such as food packs and clothes, thereby living to the theme of the convention, involve them.
We want to use Jesus' method, and Jesus' method, Ellen G. White tells us, he mingled with the community as one who desired their good.
For the kids, it was a joy to be with the needy people.
I'm happy to give out some things to other people who don't have it.
I feel good.
And as for the recipients, words failed them.
This is a great surprise. We didn't expect these goodies. Thank you to the Adventist Church for teaching their children to care for their community.
I'm very, very happy with this gesture you have done to serve the community, more especially to the young children of Nakatindi. We're thankful to Seventh-day Adventist Church for thinking of us here, the people of Nakatindi.
The heavens have been opened, and we are really humbled by these little children carrying heavy loads of groceries just for poor people like us. Truly, for me, I can say it's Christmas time again.
The total member involvement, TMI, in the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division is indeed alive and healthy, as evidenced by the involvement of our young people. Involve them. For the Adventist News Network, I'm Noel Spanda reporting from Livingstone in Zambia.
Students at Posse Adventist School in Goiás, Brazil, recently planted more than 300 ampe tree seedlings on the school's campus as part of the Sustainable School Project.
The project is an initiative of the Seventh-day Adventist Education Network in Midwest Brazil. This special program emphasizes environmental preservation.
Data from the National Institute for Space Research indicates that from August 2018 to July this year, more than 2,600 square miles of the Amazon has been deforested. Another statistic presented by the Green Initiative website using a CO2 calculator showed that carbon dioxide emissions in Brazil are currently equivalent to 7.85 tons per Brazilian every year.
The ipe tree was chosen because it is effective in eliminating CO2 and because it is easy to plant.
In addition to the Posse Adventist School, 36 other Adventist schools in the area are participating in Sustainable School. Their goal is to plant 30,000 seeds.
Ipe seedlings were distributed according to the number of students and collaborators at each school and planted the week prior to Tree Day. With the planting of 30,000 seeds, it is estimated that 4,750 tons of carbon dioxide emissions will be eliminated from the environment.
And finally, next week, we begin our coverage of the fall annual council business meetings.
Before we go any further, we would like to take a moment to explain what annual council is. Annual council is one of 2 yearly meetings of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church's Executive Committee.
The Executive Committee is the second highest governing body of the denomination. It is second to the delegates of the General Conference in session, which takes place every 5 years.
The Executive Committee is comprised of officers from the World Headquarters, department directors, and leaders from the 13 World Territories and other attached fields. Members also include union presidents and presidents of General Conference institutions.
The committee is also comprised of 3 lay members from each of the 13 World Territories and 1 pastor from each territory. It includes 1 additional frontline employee for every 500,000 members and between 30 and 40 members at large.
During annual council, members of the committee, commonly referred to as delegates, vote on policies and reports that are necessary for the operation of the church.
To keep up with all of our coverage, make sure you follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Adventist News and news.adventist.org.
Coming up, Victoria Turrentine is here with your social media highlights.
But up next, Adventists in Tanzania find creative ways to help those in need of medical care.
It all started in a small upper room with humble, fervent prayer. Threatened by the authorities and banned from preaching, the church prayed, and 2 men witnessed with great power and grace. And people prayed everywhere in one accord, in repentance, with confession and humility, and the lives of people were changed. 2 men started out on a missionary journey that would turn the world as they knew it upside down. And the message went out to the world beyond. Corporate prayer helped a prisoner escape. A king requested that his people fast and pray, and the enemy was defeated. A battle won without the need to fight. Through a faithful servant and a young queen's faith and courage, a people were saved. Stories in the Bible showing the power of united prayer.
Welcome back.
Adventists in Mwanza, Tanzania sold cows, goats, and other possessions to build a new medical facility to replace the small, overcrowded Adventist clinic.
Find out how your mission offerings helped build a beautiful medical facility that is spreading a message of hope to the people of Mwanza.
Adventist Mission has more.
Adventists in Mwanza, Tanzania sold cows, goats, and other possessions to build a new medical facility to replace the small, overcrowded Adventist clinic.
We have a lack of space for admission of patients. That's why we try to build this facility here.
Knowing this was a big dream, in 2013, they asked for your help through prayers and donations to the 13th Sabbath offering.
We appeal them to support us in offering, in prayers, in order to complete this project. I think when we are dealing with patients, people may see Jesus through this project, through these services that we are doing.
Your generous giving to the mission offering helped build a beautiful medical facility that is spreading a message of hope to the people of Mwanza. The medical staff's dream is now a reality as they admit patients into the facility. So many people began coming here that they not only used the new hospital building, they even had to expand the existing clinic. People come to this clinic because it's known as a place with caring doctors and nurses, and the staff take pride in their approach to medical care.
The compassion that is in this hospital, the way we handle patients is different. We don't handle them like customers or people who bring to us money. We handle them with care. Their safety and their well-being is our priority.
Each morning, hospital staff meet in an unfinished space for devotional time.
This hospital is different because first we start with prayers in the morning. And personally, if I miss them in the morning, my day is usually not the same compared to when I wake up early and I come early to the morning devotion every day. So when we start with prayers, it's like Holy Spirit is with us when we see patients.
Angela had a tumor growing in her stomach that caused her pain for 2 years. All she could do was lie in bed. She didn't know where to go for help until someone told her about the Adventist hospital.
Before I came here, I was hopeless. I thought I was going to die. But when I came to this hospital, I felt well again, completely.
Hospital staff prayed for Angela, and after intense surgery, doctors successfully removed the tumor.
I felt hope after the doctors came in. They didn't sleep day or night for me.
Although she still needs to take it easy, Angela is now able to perform household tasks that she wasn't able to do for the last 2 years. She and many other patients excitedly tell others about their experience in the hospital.
This hospital has been overloaded with God's power. I can testify to this because of the services I received and my experience here. I know the services are excellent and I really appreciate what I received. And I'm praying for this hospital now.
The hospital always follows up with its patients through a compassion unit. This dedicated team makes calls and visits former patients to stay connected and pray for them.
I'm proud of this ministry because I see patients change. Even last Sabbath, I saw a former patient get baptized. Their heart was transformed. They believed in God, and they're doing very well. It's so interesting to see how people change from their discouragement to a close relationship with God. They are growing physically and spiritually here, enough that people are being baptized.
Your contributions to the 13th Sabbath offering in 2013 have made an impact in the lives of many people in Mwanza. Patients and staff are grateful for this building and how God has used it in powerful ways.
I thank everyone for what they have contributed, and I want to assure them that the money they offered is really being put in place, because we see people who really come back to us and they say, it is God in this place who have helped us. When we come here, we get healed. And that is not because we have good doctors, it's because we have God working in this place.
Please pray for the work being done in Tanzania and for this medical ministry. Thank you for helping people like Angela and for your continued support of the 13th Sabbath offering.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMission.org. Then click on videos at the top.
Every day, our pastors nurture our congregations and work to share Jesus with their communities.
October 13 is Pastor Appreciation Day, and Victoria Turrentine is here to share how you can use social media to show your pastors how much you appreciate them.
Pastors around the world have a big responsibility, not only to its members, but to God. The nature of what pastors and their families accomplish is unique. God entrusted to them one of the most precious responsibilities, which is to care for His church, meaning they are supposed to lead you and I on a path of righteousness by the power of God. And it's not easy, but thank God for His strength and guidance for our pastors and the hard work they do. The month of October has been designated by Christians worldwide as Clergy Appreciation Month. In the same way that other professions are honored during the year, a day was officially chosen to honor pastors and those who perform ministerial work. Next Sabbath, October 12th, is Pastor Appreciation Day. Let's show our pastors how much we appreciate their dedication and service to God and to us. Visit eldersdigest.org and keep scrolling through the banners until you see Pastor's Appreciation Day. You will be able to download the banner to have it printed for your pastor for this special moment. The link will also provide ideas on how you can show your pastor how much you are grateful for him or her. Also, share your stories and photos with us through Facebook by tagging us in your posts at Seventh-day Adventist Church, on Twitter and Instagram at Adventist Church. Thank you to all pastors for your hard work, dedication, and service to God. Stay blessed and stay safe.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to Michael Yonker for a look at Adventist history.
This week, the Adventist Church's educational system spreads across the United States.
This week in Adventist history, we look back at the founding of one of our educational institutions in 1891. As the Seventh-day Adventist Church became more established during the 1880s, the need for a more organized educational system was keenly felt. This was certainly true in many of the then western states of America between the Mississippi River and the Rocky Mountains. At first, some of those in each of the conferences in states such as Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Iowa, and Nebraska thought to create their own smaller schools. However, in the spring of 1889, W.W. Prescott, then the General Conference Educational Secretary, suggested to representatives of the aforementioned states that they should unite in forming one stronger college to serve the Northwest, and in like manner proposed that the southwestern states, such as Kansas, Colorado, Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas, establish their own schools as well. This likely would have occurred had it not been for the intervention of Ellen G. White, who felt impressed to urge that all of the conferences west of the Mississippi and east of the Rockies unite in supporting just one strong school. After some discussion with representatives from those states, a college based on their union of opinion was formed, Union College. Predating the existence of our union conferences, this act of union was anticipatory. Located both then and today in Lincoln, Nebraska, and still currently supported by the Mid-America Union Conference, it is the oldest Seventh-day Adventist institution which was established as a college and still operates at its originally founded location and with its original name. The fruition of all their original plans took place on September 30th, 1891, when the school opened with 73 students. That's this week in Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details, and feel free to send full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Jonah, chapter 4, verse 12.
The passage says, "I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger, abounding in faithful love, and one who relents from sending disaster."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.